Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Priska. If you're joining me for the very first time and happen to fall in love with this channel, please ensure that you subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, you get that notification. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and always catching up with me every weekend. It's because of you that I'm always motivated to keep uploading those videos. If you have any comments, you can always ask me questions. Please, I'll be looking forward to responding to you. So in this week's video, we're going to be talking about signs, knowing the signs that you are in an abusive relationship. And the reason that I'm sharing this content and talking about this topic is because I have been in an abusive relationship before, and it happened when I was younger, as young as when I was 21, 22, somewhere there. I experienced being in an abusive relationship. I'm not so sure if any of my friends know this, but at some point, yeah, my family got to find out about it. And that relationship ended. And I knew that from being in that relationship that that person just wasn't for me. And it was always just in my mind and in my heart, especially, that I was just never going to spend my life with that person forever, as probably I thought I would. But it always just dawned on me that that's just not the right person for you. So I feel that in as much as you would know that this person is not for you, that's just how much you definitely know, if you keep staying in that relationship, that it will get to the worst. And what I really mean is that if you're in an abusive relationship, you definitely just know that it's gonna keep getting bad, and it's going to get worse, and it might hit you the worst if you keep staying in it. So just as much as I knew that that person wasn't for me, definitely you would know and feel it, that something's just gonna happen, and it may be something that you may not return from. For instance, you know definitely if you die in the process, or if your life ends, that's not something you'll be able to come back from. And so I'm just going to share a few signs, I'm just going to share a few ideas on how you definitely know that you're in an abusive relationship, because I sometimes feel that there's certain people who just are not sure that they're in an abusive relationship, or they may not even know because they're just so focused on trying to make the relationship work. So the first, if you have questions and comments, trying to find out and get to the deets, maybe it would be much easier if you would ask me questions, and then I can do a follow-up video. If you would like to know anything more, I can prepare content just around this topic. And yeah, so I'm just going to share a few tips and signs that you definitely need to know that you're in an abusive relationship, especially if you can't really see it and know that you are in an abusive relationship, and you just assume that everything that is happening around you is just the way it's supposed to be, and that's how it's supposed to be, when that's not the way it's supposed to be, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So number one, an abusive in when you are in an abusive relationship, you the person that is the abuser is someone who definitely cuts you away from relationships, or a social your social life. They don't want you to have friends anymore in your life. They cut you away from relationships with your family. And sometimes you just definitely won't see how that might turn out, but they kind of get rid of you just being in other relationships with people, friends, sisters, and your family, because at the end of the day, you're a human being who needs to socialize, and you can't just have one person in your life. I feel that a person who's abusive wants to be the only person in your life because they just want to control your world, and they want to be the only person in it, so that if you want to walk away from it, you feel like you have nobody except them. So they're definitely going to find a way of getting rid of your family and keeping you away from your friends until it's just, the two of you. And as a person, like I said, it's healthy to socialize. You need a community where you're able to communicate and talk to people about certain things about womanhood, certain things about entrepreneurship, certain things about school, certain things, just pertaining to you, your stress, and how you need to just always find people to talk to. And definitely that one person, especially for instance, if it was your boyfriend, and you're talking about motherhood, sisterhood, like, what would he know about the femininity? That's how I can explain it. So you need people to talk to, and the moment someone just cuts you away from all that, then your life is going to be lonely, and they just want themselves to be in your life, which does it just doesn't make sense to me. Second thing you need to look out for is a person who dates you and then stalks you. Because if you're in a relationship and this other person wants to find out anything, it's as simple as asking, "Hi, where are you?" Or "What are you doing? What are you up to?" A person who you date and spend your time and your life with then starts stalking you, like going into your messages, hacking your email, spying on you or eyeing on you, like, that's just an insecure person. And I experienced that. I experienced, like, this person would go into my email, find out who I'm chatting with, then they would create an email and then send an email to me and say, "Oh, I changed my email address, so if you want to like chat, start using this email." And I thought like I'm communicating with that, you know someone, and just not knowing that that was the person that I was dating at the time, so that he could find out the nature of that relationship. So I think when people go to such lengths, like, that is extremely insecure, and to some point it's just not normal. I think if you want to have an open discussion, an open conversation in a healthy manner, definitely just use a platform of talking and communicating. Don't be like hacking into emails and searching your inboxes, going through your phone. Definitely stalking. What I experienced by stalking is when I would tell this person like, "Oh, okay, I need to just hang out with my friends just for today," especially when I just felt like I just wanted to be with my girlfriends, and you just want to have a good girl time. And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to such and such a place." In a few hours, like, this person would just show up. Sometimes even when I didn't mention the place, probably I don't know how he would figure out what that would be at that place. This person would just show up like right in the middle of us having fun and having a good girl time, and then, "Oh, I didn't know that you would be here." Like, how am I going to have a good girl time when we're at a table with so many girls and you just happen to be the only boyfriend on it? It just wasn't something that was I couldn't sit with comfortably. So at some point, definitely, I just felt like I needed to breathe. I need my own space. I can't have time with my girlfriends. I can't just it was becoming annoying at some point. So someone who stalks you, someone who's following you, someone who's just going to show up every time when you just need your time alone, and then they just happen to be in the picture. Like, how did you know that I'm here? Stalking is just, it's just something else. It's at another level. Something you also need to look out for is a person who makes threats. And threats can be verbal. Like, you don't need to wait for someone to hit you to know that you are in an abusive relationship. People who make threats like, oh, you know what, if you're going to walk out of this relationship, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to kill myself. And the truth of the matter is, if that person threatens you to say that I'm going to kill myself, there's a good chance that he or her is not going to just, kill themselves. They'll definitely kill you first, then kill themselves later. And we've seen that happen. So people who make verbal threats, and different kind of threats, physical, when they almost want to get physical, and maybe grabbing you, or grabbing you by the hand, or just literally grabbing your body, and just being disrespectful of certain boundaries, and doing certain things in certain ways. People insulting you in public. That's just wrong, and it's crazy. And I think to some extent we kind of entertain certain things and make excuses for people when that's not exactly how we're supposed to be treated. And one of the things I can definitely take away, because when I look at that chapter in my life, and maybe this is where I'd like to really get into detail, is when I look at that chapter in my life, in that moment, after I came out of that relationship, I felt that idea of being in an abusive relationship was going to remain with me. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was ashamed of myself. I was I was upset with myself, but I didn't know um how I was going to live without that person, because in a relationship and you're friends and you always communicate. It was so I really had to courageously, confidently just walk away from that relationship every time. And every new day I had to find a way of just being independent, and just by all means trying not to get back into that relationship, because I knew it was not for me, number one, and second of all, it was an abusive relationship by nature. So I it wasn't easy, but I had to find a way of just learning how to just live without that person. But what came to mind is, I just felt like that just dented my me as a person, especially when family members got to find out about it. I just felt it was just something that would remain always a part of me. Even when that person's name would be mentioned, there was a certain pain that I just felt so bad. And I just really always thought I'll never move away from it, because of also the memory of being in this abusive relationship. But after a long time, I literally forgot this person. Like, even the fact that I'm able to talk about it today, years later, I kind of feel like it's the book that it's my story. But I just don't hold it and think, this thing had this story has pain, and it still reminds me of pain. No, it doesn't. I feel it's like the chapter or the book that I can get and read and be like, you know what, I'm glad that I'm so done with that. It's the old dusted book, but I can always pick up and say, you know what, I can actually use this book and chapter to help somebody. It's no longer a part of me. Like, I can sit down and cry and still feel certain things. No, I look at that and it's like a lesson learning chapter of my life. When I see people and when I see friends who come to me and really need like help in terms of their relationship, and when they describe certain things that I have been through, I can definitely tell, like, no, you don't deserve that. I've been there before, but hey, look, I got out of it, and you definitely can. You don't need to stay in it. You don't need to suck up to be loved and try to be loved by somebody. So, other things that you may need to look out for in an abusive relationship is someone who does not allow you to make your own decisions. You know, I would say this in marriage, like we agree to make the decision together. But when someone makes decisions for you, especially, you know, people who are just constantly controlling you, they control and decide for you how you're going to dress up, how you need to look, how you need to speak, how you need to blink. Like, don't blink twice in 3 seconds, because if you do, you know, there's just certain people who are so controlling. They make decisions for you, and they make decisions pertaining to your life. You have to understand that you have your own dreams, you have your own goals. There are things that you may want to do. But if you give all the power to somebody, of course, you're going to feel like you're in a bubble. And I think this is where most people don't, we need to start learning to understand that when someone comes into your life, it's very important who you bring on board into your life. It's very important who you're going to marry. It's very important who you date, because they definitely have an impact on you. They definitely um, alter certain things about you. And if you give someone the entire power to make decisions for yourself, there'll be times you're going to dream and you want to do something, and then you go and that person is like, no, don't do that. don't don't apply for that job. No, don't go for work. You know, then people who are abusive will control you and control how you decide for yourself. And it's absolutely extremely dangerous, especially when you're just, dating. You're just simply dating. You're just, you're just young and you're dating, and it's not really like a formal or a definite relationship. But then imagine just giving someone all this entire power in your life to make decisions for you. It's good when you consult. It's good when you just want to hear their opinion. But I think people should be, when you're in a relationship, you should be able to have this form of communicating how you're eventually going to decide certain things. But if someone comes into your life and is like, I don't want that, don't do that, and you don't even have that, period of time when you can really talk and air out certain things. I don't like the way you dress. Like, excuse me, I love bright colors. Are you going to tell me what to wear? you know and they'll decide based on their insecurities, based on their own hurt, based on their own, you know on their own insecurities, because probably someone treated them like that, and then now they want to treat you in that manner. So I think that's the most important, impactful area about you. Because imagine dating somebody and then they're like, no, don't take up that business. We'll definitely just do something that, selfishly he wants for himself. You feel suffocated. You won't grow in any way. Your confidence will be definitely broken down. Your self-esteem starts to just, dwindle because someone is doing certain things for you. I'm not sure. And I need to say this. I was, when I was in that relationship with that person, this is a person who'd like escort you escort you for everything. So the biggest mistake that I did was like, oh, can you drop this CV for me at this place? And eventually, it's like, oh, this person is helping me, but then after some time it became like, let me do this for you, let me do this for you, let me stand in the queue for you, let me consult on your behalf. And by that, you guys, I didn't really know the impact until that relationship ended. Because when that relationship ended, I felt vulnerable. I didn't know how to do things for myself, because it was like, oh, I'll just do that for you. And then you later on find out that there are certain things that you probably wanted to do, but they never did them, because they always said, oh, I'm just going to, do it on your behalf. Don't worry, don't stress. And you think, oh, that's, a boyfriend girlfriend type of a thing. But I think learning how to be independent is something that you really need to know and understand, that it has to do with your power. It's not just about independence and money. It has to do with your personal power as a woman, standing up for yourself and knowing that I don't want to be treated in such a way. Standing up for yourself and, having the power to make certain decisions and standing by them without being pushed over, manipulated, and controlled. And those are the things that I started to learn. I had to learn how to rebuild my confidence, and I eventually got through it. But imagine, like, being in college and I'm standing in queue wanting to pay for my fees, and because this person was so insecure and thinking about, oh, maybe she's standing next to some guy who's going to talk to her, and it's like, where are you at? Like, no, I'm trying to pay my school fees, and there's a queue. That was way before the online payment systems. And this person shows up, like, those days I was at NIPA in college, and the queue would be like from A to, I don't even know, like meters, kilometers, I don't know. And would literally like stand next to me. And that was like my first college experience. Oh, I'm coming, I can, stand with you. And I thought, no, I want to do this on my own. I'm in college. I want to learn how to do things on my own. Don't stand with me like in a queue, like you're my like mom or dad. My mom is actually even home. Like, she would have been in the queue with me. And I wanted that experience. Like, at some point it just became too much. And this person shows up. I was really upset. I really was. And a few hours later, they're like, oh, this queue is so long. No, allow me to think in that way. Allow me to express myself in that way. Allow me to stand in queue so that I can pay for my own school fees without having to do this as a boyfriend and girlfriend thing. And I just wanted to have my experience of doing things on my own. And so you have to understand that people who are abusive are manipulative, and you really have to be careful how you can be disabled in certain ways, especially when it's at the platform of being ignorant. Allow yourself to learn certain things without having someone to do things for your behalf. And you should be able to have that space. And I think that's also another important thing, is no matter how you can be in a relationship 24/7, like always being in that person's space, and the moment that maybe that day you're not with them, they start going psycho, because they're thinking, if she's not with me, if he's not with me, then who are they with? Like, when do you get to breathe? When do you get to just have your time? And I think that's really an important thing that people need to take into perspective, is you are an individual with your own life. You have your dreams. You have a social circle with another human being with their own dreams. They have their social circle. They have likes. They have activities that they enjoy doing. And you may be different, but if you are willing to just be open to merge these two worlds into one, then you have to do it in a healthy manner, not in a forceful manner. Like, I don't like it when you are playing soccer. Why? I just want you to stop playing soccer because of the women who are there cheering you on. Like, you have to be able to communicate things in a healthy manner, but not cutting down someone's world down, that you want their world to just be revolved around you. I just want to keep my eyes on you 24/7. Don't move. Really? So those are the things that you really need to look out for. And I hope we have taken in one or two things. I look forward to your response. I look forward to the questions, and yep, stay well. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye.